Hello, lovelies. How are you? How's everyone doing today? Thank you so much, Casey and Blaze, for having me here at this conference. I'm so excited to be here and excited to be speaking today to all of you. Now, my name is Elisa Silva, and I am the CEO of Alpha Alchemy LLC. I am a spiritual counselor and coach, as well as a certified astrologer, intuitive card reader, and quantum Reiki healer. I help flustered women find fulfillment, joy, and relief through discovering their soul purpose. In my work, I love to begin with analyzing natal birth charts because there's so much wisdom in them, and I'll get into that a little bit today. I also help people release money blocks, unravel their karma. I help people complete their assigned soul promises, their life lessons. I love working with the nervous system regulation. I help with deconditioning the mind and the body in order to create your desired reality because we are ultimately creators of our realities. Okay. And I'm also a first generation Cape Verdean American. Both of my parents were born and raised in Cape Verde, a group of islands off the coast of Northwest Africa. So, a lot of you lovely ladies in Africa right now who are streaming this can relate. Okay. Now, if you see my eyes darting around during this little talk, just know that I'm following along with some notes that I have today. All right. And before we begin, I'd like to set the stage. I'd like to begin with a story. And I would like everyone to put away their notebooks, put away your pens, and just sit with me. Just sit with me. You can always rewatch this later or get the recording from me or from Casey. So just sit and listen and feel the vibes. Okay? So let's get into this story. Now, as a little girl, I always felt really different. I felt a bit homesick. It was like I was in this world, but not of it. And that felt really weird in my body as a child. Right? I related to my family, our Cape culture, and I attended a predominantly white private school from sixth grade to 12th grade, where mostly everyone was wealthy. And at that time, it felt really hard for me. I felt really different. I felt like I didn't belong. That story that you hear about the black girl that didn't fit in, that really felt like me. I sort of just went through feeling like I was wearing a mask and pretending everything was okay. My mom and I, when we talk about it, she always says, I thought everything was great. You seemed so happy. And, I did. I was doing my thing. Um, I was getting good grades and I was trying to make friends. So, you know, some of you can relate to this experience. And around fifth and sixth grade, when I entered this private school, my parents were getting a divorce. And that was really hard on me. But I essentially pushed those feelings down. And I performed well in school. I got really good grades. I met my high honor roll every single semester. And I didn't know it at the time, but that was my way of seeking love and bringing peace in my household. It was the one thing that as a kid I could control: get good grades, show them to mom and dad, um, and then try to bring some safety to the situation, some control to a situation that felt really out of my hands. Okay, so fast forward over the next decade or so, I continued doing my thing. I got good grades, I played sports. I did my best to feel comfortable in the different friendships that I had and in the environments where I stuck out in every classroom and every hallway. And I had both good and bad experiences in relationships as well. I learned a lot with friendships, different partnerships, romantic relationships, both good and bad. Okay. But nevertheless, I couldn't shake the feeling of internal isolation. And this feeling like there was more to this life than I was being told. I just knew it. I knew it in my soul. Something is off. Like, I'm here, I'm chugging along. I love my family. I love my culture. I love, doing certain things, but like, what's the point? Like, why am I here? Where did I come from? I always felt this internal feeling of like, there's more going on and no one is telling me. Okay. And here is when everything changes in my story. It was sophomore year of college. I went to Boston College, go Eagles. All right. And I was a sophomore in college. I had a random roommate, and she happened to read tarot cards, which blew my mind. She offered to read for me, and the reading was spot on. It blew my mind. I was like, there's no way that you just read these cards for me and gave me all this guidance and pulled all this wisdom out of nowhere. Okay. And it was exactly what I was seeking, someone or something to give me guidance on my path. You see, I had felt this fire in my stomach, and I had this vision in my head, and it was there my whole life. All right. I was always just had this inkling that there was more on the way, and that it was my destiny, and more was coming, more was coming. I was meant for something bigger. It was just fire. It was, I didn't know what it was at the time, but I knew that I felt it. And I knew that I had the vision in my head of where I wanted to be. And I knew that somehow I would get there. Okay. But at the time I was asking the questions, why am I here? What is all of this happening for? What's my sole purpose? How am I supposed to fulfill it? Right. So from that moment, I had gone and I got a tarot deck, and I began learning and mastering tarot on my own and building the confidence. I started to quietly do it on my own for a while. And then my family started getting involved a little bit, some friends, coming out of the closet in that regard. All right. And eventually, I did feel that I mastered it. I took courses, I got certifications, all right? And then I found Reiki. I began those studies and got those certifications. And then astrology came in and blew my mind. It blew the whole roof off, okay? Now, I'm going to show you what an astrology birth chart looks like. And I'll be pulling that up now, just so you have an idea of what I am talking about. So this is an astrology chart. Getting my screen in order. This is an astrology birth chart, okay? And in your chart and my chart, I was able to see my soul essence, my character, my life lessons, my promises, the karma that I was given to learn, the lessons, specifically to my parents' divorce. All right, this isn't my chart, but this is one of my old clients. I could see the karma that I was given. I could see the energy around money, the energy around love, the energy around career. I could see my life themes. I could see the gifts that I was given. Okay. And I know this through the chart. I can explain in the best way without that much jargon so you can understand what you're looking at. This X in the middle is exactly where you were when you were born. This is you coming out of the womb. And this right here, this line that goes straight across, is the horizon line when you were born. All of these little symbols are planets. This is the moon, this is Uranus, this is Jupiter. These are planets. So if you took a telescope and you put it up in the sky when you were born and you looked, these are the planets that were up in the sky and you could see them. And anything down here wouldn't have been in the horizon. Okay? Now, you can use this as a little cheat sheet to see. Right, this is the sun, there's a sun symbol, okay? And this person was born at 8:10 in the morning. So of course, the sun symbol is gonna be above the horizon line because the sun had already risen. All right, now everything on the outside, these are the zodiac signs, which are just star constellations, okay? And again, these are the symbols. These numbers are called degrees. You don't have to worry too much about those. That would be my job. These red lines are the karma that you were given. And this is super important, This is super important because you have to overcome your karma in order to really step into the person you're meant to be and to fulfill your soul purpose, right? It's all these challenges. So when I have clients, this shows up as like black sheep of the family, anxiety, depression, fear of being seen, anything like that. Okay. And it's different for everybody. And the blue lines represent your gifts that you're given in this life. And there's a few other things in the charts that I would pull from. But just to give you the rundown so you have an understanding and it's not complete gibberish when you look at it. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. So in my chart, I was able to see all of the things I just listed. And it was amazing. All the information was so spot on and it blew my mind. It was like the biggest key to my kingdom, the secret cheat code that I was looking for to provide healing and guidance and answers. My Leo rising and my Aries midheaven told me that I was literally meant to be seen and heard in my life and in my career. So I had to overcome that old fear of being seen, that fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection. I had to go in and dig through the layers and work through that in order for me to step into those qualities of who I came here to be, in order to start magnetizing and attracting all of my desires, everything of the vision of the person that I've seen in my head ever since I was a little girl. All right. My Venus conjunct my Neptune told me that I had to be careful not to have rose colored glasses in relationships because that Neptunian fog, which rules dreams and illusions, was holding hands with Venus, the planet of love. Now, this made sense for me when I discovered it as to why I had stayed in an old toxic partnership. And it helped me to stay away from that pattern because I knew it existed in my chart. It made sense. Okay. My sun in my sixth house of Virgo and my Virgo North node told me that I had to bring discipline into my endeavors in order to make a way for myself. I had to combine the spiritual with the mundane. And my missing element of earth told me that I had to make friends with money again. All right. And I had to accept the earth life responsibilities, friendships, taxes. All right. Any of those things that I personally wanted to ignore for so long and just like live in Pisces land. I have my South Node in Pisces, which means my past life. I was a Pisces and that was my default. I loved escapism and dreaming and meditating and just going off and being alone. But now I'm in this life to combine them, which makes sense. Having a spiritual business, making friends with money so that I can accept money as a form of energy exchange, right? All of the things. So when I began mastering astrology, I just knew that people needed this information. If taught and utilized correctly, it was pretty much guaranteed to change your life. And it changed mine. So I made myself a promise. I promised to alchemize my shadows into light and to put my efforts and focus and love into fulfilling my soul purpose, into becoming the alpha woman I had always envisioned, and then to help other women do the same. This is where Alpha Alchemy was birthed, a beautiful spiritual counseling and coaching business built with integrity and love to ignite your inner alpha. It is time for the alpha woman within you to rise. In fact, we are in a new era and it's called the rise of the feminine. You can Google it, it's a thing. All right. It is a magnificent time to be a woman. We are healing, activating, becoming aware of our true power, embracing our magical nature, breaking out of matrix codes. All right. We are in a matrix. Stepping into our abundant birthright and freaking shocking the world with our brilliance, our magnificence. Okay. I want to be a part of your journey, of our journey as amazing, wonderful, brilliant women. I want you to heal. I want you to have access to the resources that you need to become the woman you know you were destined to be. I want you to understand concepts like nervous system regulation and subconscious belief work. I want you to know that your body must feel safe. Literally, your body must feel safe in order for you to expand into more money, more love, more freedom, more. It has to feel safe and allowed. And I want you to understand those concepts. And I want you to know how to utilize them and to get your body to feel safe, for you to be able to have the things that you desire. Okay. I want you to understand that you exist in a permanent state of abundance and that it is your birthright. I want you to understand that you are a creator of your reality and you can have anything that you want, but you were programmed to believe otherwise. For instance, many of us were taught that we had to work very hard to receive money because we watched our parents struggle and strive for us. Not only that, but we saw how much they would pride themselves on that struggle. So now we live in a paradigm, right, where we must struggle big time to be worthy to receive the money we want. But why can't it be easy? I want you to understand that you no longer have to subscribe to the stories that you were given. You get to rewrite your own. I want you to understand that you learned what love was from your parents and your household and your environment. So if you find yourself in unhealthy situations, the root cause is likely to be a childhood wound. Getting to the root will help you break free. I want you to know that there is more for you, that the fire in your stomach and the visions you see in your head of what you desire already exists. There is a version of you who has it in your highest timeline, and it is our job to find her. You are one and the same. Anything is possible here. The world is really your oyster, and it is time for you to rise. Beautiful, beautiful woman, beautiful, beautiful woman. It is time for you to rise. You are incredibly powerful, more than you know. All right. And it is time for you to stand in that truth. So, with that being said, if you would like to hold hands as we walk together into your highest timeline, I would love to give away a free session to anyone here to discuss any blocks you feel are currently sitting in between you and the woman you know you are destined to be. I also have a free newsletter. So you can send me a DM on Instagram or send me an email and I will add you to the list. I'll get you booked in with a free session. Okay. And you can also subscribe to that newsletter on my website, alphaalchemyllc.com. And, thank you everyone for listening. I want to leave you with this. I want you to know that if you have a desire, it is there for a reason. And that as much as you crave the visions that you see in your head, they crave you with that same intensity, if not more. Okay? Trust in your visions and make those moves, sis. I'm sending you all of my love, and I will see you in our Q&A session. Bring me all of the tea and all of the questions. I am so excited to speak with you very soon. All the love.
Incredible. Incredible. Alyssa, thank you so much, sis.
Hi.
The chat is on fire, and I want to make sure that I get as many questions pushed through to you as possible. Okay, so
Yes,
if you're ready, I'm gonna start. You ready?
I'm ready. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you well.
Okay, great.
Okay. They didn't even queue them up yet, sis. Okay, so I do
It's
have
okay.
a person
I'm
with
gonna be
their.
in the comments. I'm so
I do have
excited.
people. I have people with their hands raised, but we don't have a lot of time. So let me get the Q and A's first, and then we'll see if we can get to a hand raise. So Winnie says, "I just want to say thank you, Alyssa. I'm over here crying from feeling so seen." Ashe, Ashe, Ashe,
Oh
Ashe,
my love. I
Ashe.
know. I know. One thing I
Alyssa,
love. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing I love about astrology is that, when I look at a chart, it's literally a picture of the sky when you were born, and it gives you so much tea. It's like I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, like this is exactly who I am. I was supposed to be this person. It's literally written in the stars. So it's like, go through
Ashe.
this life struggling or like going through X, Y, and Z, and it can feel really heavy. But just to know that like
Mhm.
you're on time and things are happening on purpose brings such a deep sense of relief and comfort.
I shy. And Alyssa, honestly, so many people have raised their hands, so they just want to talk to you. They don't. They
Let
want
me
to do
tell
more than
you,
just have
let's
questions. So
we
I'm gonna
need
pull
this.
them on stage. You are. I want to try to get to as many people as possible that raise their hands. So if you could say what you want to say in like 60 to 90 seconds, I would appreciate it. First, it's you, Shauna. The mic is yours, Mama. Uh oh, Shauna, can you hear me?
You gotta unmute, girl. Waiting on you.
All right. So love you, Shauna. Love you, and I mean it, sis. Now, okay. I'm about to kick it over to Erica. Erica, the mic is yours, Mamacita.
Hi, Casey. Oh my gosh, has it been 6 months? Oh my goodness, it's been a long time. I feel like just yesterday I was at the June Summer Summit. I just want to get up here and give you guys your flowers. You guys are so amazing. Casey literally has carved out a space for people women who not only walk and talk like us, but look like us in business. And I just want to get on here real quick and say that don't give up, because 6 months ago I was just an attendee and now I am a vendor at this summit because of the opportunities Casey has provided for all of us. And I want to say, visit my booth, 24 Pressure Press-Ons LLC in the Black Buy Market. We are having a speed networking event today and tomorrow at our tables in our booth. And I also have a giveaway going on for our Black Girl Magic collection. So we're giving away 4 sets of nails on Christmas Eve. So check that out, check that out, check that out. Thank you so much. Thank you for pulling me up on stage again. It was so nice to be here.
Thanks, Erica. Appreciate you. Ashe. Okay, so I'm gonna put up a question for you, Alyssa. This one is from Kathy, and she says, Virgo Sun and Leo Rising. How do I bring out my inner lioness?
Okay, we love a Leo rising. I'm a Leo rising, so I know this energy pretty well. I definitely think embracing the element of fire is super important, right? So we're all missing an element: fire, air, earth, or water. I'd have to look at your chart to see which one you have. But knowing that you have a Leo rising, that's the energy of your soul. It's who you want to be expressed, and it's the energy you're meant to rise into more and more as time goes on. So embracing your fire. A Leo loves to be big and bold and have their own dramatic flair. They love to dress up. So find something that you feel really beautiful in, really sexy in, and allow yourself to embrace that energy and sit in that energy until it feels safe and it feels natural for you. Okay. And Virgo sun signs. I love Virgo. I have my sun in Capricorn, but it's in the 6th house of Virgo. And Virgo is all about discipline, all about health, taking care of yourself. So make sure that you are being disciplined with your health. Make sure if you're exercising and you're moving your body. Make sure that you're putting good things in your body so that you feel good on the inside and feel good on the outside as well. And just know that you are a lioness. Like, have that confidence and that spunk to just be the amazing woman that you inherently are. It's literally your essence.
Ashe. Okay, I'm gonna try to flip as many of these as I can, Alyssa. So the next question is coming from Tiffany Brown, and she asks, "Is there a certain website to look up your natal chart?"
Yes, astro.com is the only site I use, the only site I recommend. You can go to, I think it's like natal charts and calculations. You will need your birth time, your birth city, all that information so it can be as accurate as possible. Definitely your birth time is important as well. So as close as you can to getting that from your birth certificate would be my recommendation.
Ashe. Okay, so I can only bring up one more, y'all. I can only bring up one more. I won't be able to pull anyone else on stage, but the next one is coming from Sequoia, and she says, "Thank you so much. So I have a placement in my 11th house that isn't the best with groups. Any advice on building communities, or is this more a question to look at my chart?"
Yep, I would have to look at your chart. The 11th house is a house of Aquarius, which does have to do with communities. So I'm not entirely sure what you mean by it isn't the best with group, because it is a community house. So I would need to see your chart and sort of see what your experience is, and then I'll be able to answer that better. And you can also, you guys, send me DMs. Like, I check my Instagram DMs. If you have questions, blow me up. I will literally be checking over the next few days for sure. So send me all your questions on there.
Ashe. And I'm actually so intrigued by this. I'm so intrigued. I gotta put another
Yes,
one
you
up.
need a reading.
You're very impressive. Okay.
Thanks.
Anika asks, I don't know if I missed this or not, but do you do charts for businesses?
Unfortunately, I don't do charts for businesses. However, I can look in your chart, and there's something called like a unique wealth archetype. I can see different areas in your chart that have to do with money and have to do with career. And a lot of times the career is business. So like a lot of times, like in my chart, it definitely shows that I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur. And I know that. So I'll take the different pieces that are in my chart and I'll combine them to point me in the direction that I need. So there will probably still be a lot of answers in your own personal chart that relate to your business. It just won't be specific to like just your business alone. Hope that helps.
Super dope. We appreciate you so much, Alyssa. This was so enlightening. You have people crying, you have people excited, you have people feeling seen. Bravo to you, sis, and I appreciate your partnership this season.
Yes, this is so fun. Thank you everyone for commenting, participating, like listening and showing up. More than anything in the whole world, it really, really means a lot. So I'm excited. I'm sending all of you love, and thank you so much, Casey, for having me.
Thank you, Mama. I appreciate you. Super dope. All right, y'all. Well, as mentioned, we are winding down the day. We only have one more session left today for day number 4, and it is called I Am Perfect. It will be given by Denicia Hilton Harper. She's super dope, super, super dope. And I personally enjoy hearing from people who are so smart about the sciences, including Alyssa. This next person is a doctor. So meet me over there. That is the last session of the day. I am perfect. And then you are free to roam. Okay. I'll see you on the other side. Peace.
Hey, y'all. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. I am perfect. Yeah. And actually, you are too. When I came to this conclusion, there was a slight uneasiness, and even at the same time, actually a familiarity, a comfort. I heard it in a meditation or while I was doing something, probably driving, which is when messages usually come to me. And it didn't make sense at first, especially considering how people view being perfect, right? So what did I do? I asked to show me how. And this is when, over time, the gates just swung open. The lights shone with info, awareness of synchrodestinies, people, they just came in, right? And what happened was, as I've been practicing as a doctor of Oriental medicine, working with women, with harmonizing their hormones, things stuck out. And something in particular very much so stuck out. And it was what it was that she was saying. It's what they would say about their symptoms, about themselves, and they could be saying it even jokingly. And at the same time, those statements rang true for them. Things like, I'm a work in progress. Oh, I gotta fix XYZ. I'm gonna get it together. Nobody's perfect, right? Any of those sound familiar to you? And some of these I even said until I realized, right? This is what I heard, though. I heard that she believed that she was broken, and I heard that she believed that she was in need of repair. And then this is what I saw, right? My eyes are closed even when I said I saw. It's because I saw through here was this image of a giraffe's pattern. Yes, it's a beautiful pattern. And it's this pattern with these splotches, with these patches, right? And the thing is, though, in between those splotches and those patches are all of these rivers, there's all of these valleys, all of these openings, all of these spaces, right? That are all there. But what did it mean? Those valleys and those rivers and those openings were also spaces of which it is that she was also going to be seeking to fill them to feel whole. So then what would happen is she opened herself even unconsciously to bringing in others, to bringing in activities, whatever it is that were distractions that would actually fill her, to fill in those spaces, to fill in those gaps, right? To feel whole, to come together. Because our innate nature is to be whole, is to feel whole, right? So while she felt like her needing to get it together was true for her, I'm going to tell you the truth. And yes, there's a difference. You are already whole and complete right here and right now. You are perfect. The root meaning of perfect is actually whole and complete. It's oftentimes mistaken that perfect means flawless, and that is not the case. It really is that whole and complete. And so I would like to imagine a diamond, right? Yeah, sure, everybody, the cliche, it's the pressure that creates it, right? There's more, though. There's more to that story. The markings are also a part of that diamond and the story. That those markings are their story. The clarity is the story, right? It wouldn't even be that diamond without it, without those markings. Notice I didn't even call them flaws, right? They're simply markings. It personalized it. And you know what else? As light is shown through a diamond, those reflections that you see, right, as it points out of it, those are all literally cascading up on a wall outside of it. It's its personal imprint. So not only is it that it's a reflection of its journey up until that moment that it was harvested, right? It's also showing infinite trajectory outside of it through that journey. And that is what I see as you. What you see as flaws are actually part of you and your experience, that as your light shines through you, it has your imprint and is a beacon of light to others. So just as the diamond's markings are showing you how it came into form, what you observe as patterns, behaviors, symptoms are really seen as in response to what's going on around you and within you. Your physical body is literally built in response. And this is why I love working with and understanding hormones. They're like the master communicators, right? And the body. Their role is simply to, this is me saying simply, but it's a very complicated process, right? Their role is simply to assess the environment inside and outside. Then send the messages of what to do to everyone else. Those symptoms are messages. But what are those messages, right? The messages are actually offering insight. And that insight is actually coming from your soul. That is your perfect, authentic self. It's who you really are. And those symptoms and the conditions, they're actually invitations for you to begin to come in, listen, and to interpret. This is what I would see with women. This is what really changed it for me in the practice. It was this beautiful interpretation, a process, an unfolding of what her authentic self is asking her to be. So all along from training and whatnot, and it's not even to say that it was wrong, I had to go through that process. So here it is that all along I'm thinking, let's correct the symptoms. Let's see what's happening and let's correct it, right? If there's a deficiency, we want to replete it. Like if there's excess, we want to reduce it. And oh, we got it. We're going to use this herb and all of this, right? And then it dawned on me. I'm like, wait a second. I went into this medicine because this medicine is beautifully seeing people as a whole person, seeing the impact of their life, like all these various aspects of their life and how it's showing up now into what I'm seeing and assessing on the physical form, the mental and emotional form, the spiritual form, right? And so when I realized like, oh, that's not even what I was doing, right? Because like I said, I'm trying to correct the symptoms. I'm going, that's the same thing as Western medicine. And then as I evolved through the practice and I realized like, it's not even that. It's really about seeing those symptoms as messages of the presentation or lack of the authentic self. Is there alignment or not with the authentic self? We needed to become aware and accept and appreciate her totality. Use those strengths, become aware of what could be lurking in the shadows. For those are the messages and the guiding posts as well. So now you can see that your journey has changed course, right? Because by now you're seeing that you are perfect. You're perfect right here, right now. And when you realize that you're whole and complete, you're actually plugging yourself into source, source being you, which is also a reflection of the greater source. So imagine the mega power that comes from that. I mean, that's like a huge, huge power company, everything, it's all yours, right? And just imagine what could you light up in the world when the light is actually recirculating, like that power is recirculating within versus it leaking out, versus all of these other things plugging itself into you that you're trying to get some power from outside, when really it's all within. It's just taking that time and learning and becoming aware, using those symptoms, using those conditions of the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual as those guiding posts for you to plug back into source, for you to resource. Intentionally said that way, right? It's embracing all aspects of you. Now reimagine for a moment and open up to the messages of those symptoms and conditions that may be present for you. We might dissociate from the body, right? We praise this mindfulness, which is once again only going in the mind. It's still taking away from the body. Many of us have experienced some type of experience, traumatic experience to the body where we began to dissociate. If it wasn't through you directly, it may have even been through your lineage. And so now I'm asking you though, to come into a place where you do feel safe and you feel comfortable, at least in an environment that offers that can guide you into coming into the body so that then you can foster a different type of relationship with those symptoms and conditions, asking for their guidance and their insight into your soul's journey. They're your great allies to you being your perfect, authentic self. And along that journey, as this journey is now shifted for you during our short time together, thank you very much. Remember that this is a journey, it's not a destination. And your perfect, authentic self is actually a verb, it's a being, not a noun. And then, just like I had mentioned with the environments, like you are literally a reflection of environments. You're responding to that, right? All the time. Be in those environments that honor and fosters your perfect, authentic self. And one of my favorites is that you definitely want to play with it, right? Not only play in the sense of engaging in activity for recreation, which, side note, recreation, I said that on purpose, because that's exactly what it is that you are. You are an infinite creator, all right? But you also want to play as an acronym, tapping into the potential and learning about yourself. As you realize that serious healing ain't gotta be so serious. So if you're keen to playing in spaces and environments that do just that, exploring the perfect authentic self through the lens of the symptoms or conditions as your guiding messages while you're playing, then choose your adventure by clicking on the link in the chat to see what your personal journey could be like. So right here, right now, I invite you to tap into that gallbladder channel of courage, which is really cool because that's exactly what you tap into when you put those hands on your hips. You're engaging courage for yourself. So put those hands on the hips. It is allowed and welcome right now. And you stand strongly and just feel immensely as you say with me, I am whole. I am complete. I am perfect. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Denicia Hilton Harper, Doctor of Oriental Medicine, Holistic Wellbeing Consultant. I appreciate you for sharing space with me and allowing me to guide you and welcome you to your perfect, authentic self.
Ashe, Denicia, I can listen to you talk all day long. Your voice is so soothing.
Thank you.
Hello, Mama.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. Yes.
Awesome.
Doing good.
I could listen to you all day. Thank you for not only being on the stage with us and sharing all of this information, but for closing us out in such a affirming and soothing way on day 4. This has been so beautiful. Yeah, Raven's in the chat. Yeah, her voice is so calming. Ashe.
Oh, thanks, Raven.
If you have any questions at all, definitely drop them in the chat box. I will show them on the stage so that Denicia can answer them. If you want to come on the stage and say anything audibly to her, you absolutely can. Just hit the hand button and I'll bring you up. The hand button is under our videos, right on the screen right now. As they're queuing that up, Denicia, how did you get involved with Oriental medicine?
So actually, I only was familiar with Western medicine, and I actually wanted to practice neonatology. And then something happened and was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. And then I didn't. But I had a moment when I was working at a campus here, and it was like, it's time. Like I was in the middle of a cadaver lab, literally on a tour, and it was like, it's time. I heard it. Like, you got to go back into medicine. So I was speaking with a sorority sister, and it was actually her that introduced Eastern medicine to me. And she was just like, if there's another way you could treat patients, would you be interested? And I was like, there's another way? Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so she's like, yeah, it's acupuncture. And I was like, yeah, girl, I don't like needles. And but we chatted a little bit more, and then I went and did some research, and I just fell in love with the philosophy. I fell in love with the way that it is that as a practitioner that you see people, like,
Yeah.
to see the influence of their life and how it's playing a role into what we see today,
Yeah.
and then with that information, what do you do?
Yeah.
How is it that we can position someone to be able to literally activate and move in alignment with our own healing capacities?
Yeah.
So all of that is what like sold me on it, and it's just
Yeah.
been since then.
That's right. Kudos to your friend. Yeah, sometimes people see things in us that we don't want to see in ourselves. So I'm so happy you're in this space. We have a question from Yvonne, and she says, "Can she just adopt me?" I know, like it's so safe in your voice.
Oh, you
Um,
wanted, it's like, come on, bring it in. It's a big
Ashe.
virtual air meet group hug. Like,
Ashe. Anika said, "Nope." I'm like, keep her talking, Casey. They just, yeah. I'm with. This is a good end to the day. It's just like you are so soothing, and just hearing you saying, "You are perfect." Like,
yes,
uh,
yes, you
okay.
are.
We do have a question from Winnie Quick. She says, "Do you have a podcast? Your voice is so soothing. Your voice is so soothing."
Okay, so actually I do. And because y'all are saying this, I'm like, man, doggone it. Spirit is moving through these people because I've been sitting on it with new episodes. So you can actually go and find it, and then you can listen to that first season. Because of this, thank you, Casey, for activating this, and everyone else who's here. I will go ahead and make sure I move that to the top of my list to get season 2, because I've been outlining it and season 3 for the longest. I just haven't actually recorded it. But it is actually called I Am Perfect podcast. So you can find it on Spotify, Pandora, iTunes. You can actually download the Perfect Playground app, and it's in Google Play and in Apple stores. And there's
So,
actually one, you'll see it when you go in there and you log in, and it'll actually say listen here for the podcast. So what we did was we transferred the episodes over into there, so that way even when the new one comes out, I can automatically send notifications of saying, hey, season 2's here, take a listen. So yeah, you can find it there.
yay, we get to listen to her. We get to binge listen to her voice. Awesome. Okay. We have another question, Mama. This one is from Paquita. She says, Western medicine has so many disparities. Do you find similar themes existing in Eastern medicine?
Okay, so when you're talking about disparities, you're talking about as far as like providers and diversity, or in access, or even with on the patient side. I'm not quite sure. So I'm gonna go wing it right now with what initially came to me. So you can see it definitely in Eastern medicine, especially when it comes to practitioners. I will say though, here's a little story too. I actually had someone tell me when I first started, and I'm like trying to build patient base and everything, you don't look like a doctor of Oriental medicine. And I was like, and what's that supposed to look like? I mean, I was like, what in the world? But I will say that there has been an increase of diversity when it comes to providers. I know that that's very important for many people, especially when it is they may be coming in talking about something that could be extremely sensitive, especially as the medicine is very great at treating trauma in a way that you don't necessarily have to talk it out, where you have to relive it or anything. And that actually was one of my first experiences, where I realized like, oh my gosh, I am totally past this and didn't have to talk about it. But
Right.
the medicine moved through the herbs and moved through the body in that way. So
Wow.
you'll find that there's that diversity there. And then on the patient side, the I do see a mix, like, because there's some overlap. So you'll have some practices within Eastern medicine that you might find, especially as I started exploring more, especially like into IFA and whatnot, because I like exploring the variety because I want to see just where it is that we all intersect, where it is that we're all actually talking about the same thing. We're just talking
Yeah.
about it through different lenses.
Yeah.
So I see overlaps in so many different ways. Um, I will say that when it comes to disparities as far as access goes, oftentimes acupuncture itself is not covered by insurance. So I do want
Yeah.
to let people know this. Even if it is covered by insurance, there's a behind the scenes thing that only certain things that can be coded can approve it to be covered by insurance. So what you find is then that people are like, well, it seems like it's more out of discretionary income that people can actually access
Mhm.
Eastern medicine. And I will say that there's going to be a gamut. So you could literally see people who are doing sliding scale privately, or they're doing community acupuncture, and there's actually a community acupuncture website and everything. There's even
Wow.
acupuncturists without borders that will go and do acupuncture for big trauma cases and things like that, all the way to where it could be like 150 $200, that kind of thing. So when I hear disparities, I think about so many different aspects, and I know that
Yeah.
financially there is that issue that's there. So you can actually look at it like that. um, there's also, when you think about access location, so I'll let you know it's state by state as far as what someone's licensed, what they're able to do in their state.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll find congregations, right? Like I would love, as much as I would love, my family's from Mississippi. And so whenever I go visit, how much it is I know that this type of medicine could do there. But when you look at the state laws and being able to practice, it's like
Right.
you gotta jump through a lot of hoops, and then it's still under an MD's thing unless it goes periodically. I'll go back and check. But when you do that, it kind of sets you up to possibly continuing to perpetuate what the disparities are, right? Like if
Mhm.
you do it that
Yeah.
way. But like
Yeah.
in Florida, it's a lot, we have a lot more that we're able to do. California, same thing. So
Right.
you want to kind of look and see exactly where you're at. And at the same time, I do want to say, because you are finding some other ones that are practicing more telehealth, because they're using elements of the medicine. Trust and believe that acupuncture is only one modality within a huge breadth of the medicine. This is why it is that I transitioned out of just needling. I had a teacher
So,
tell me anything that moves the chi is a needle.
so
So simply by you listening and talking like me, and you're listening to me, it's changing things. It's changing the way that the chi is actually moving, the way that your mind thinks and all of that, right?
that's
So there
true.
so I say this so that you can expand in the way that you think about it, and then how it is that you want to kind of go about doing it, and going about it. And I'm totally open to if there's any particular questions that people might have about certain conditions and whatnot, that you might want some insight on who it is that you're looking for, then like totally hit me up and let me know, because I'm down for that.
Oh, they have it. It's the next question. Wait. Did I put the wrong one up? Where'd it go? Sorry, they're
Oh,
voting on this stuff, so it's moving in order. Let me try to find it again. Oh no, it's here.
oh.
Okay. How does Eastern medicine treat perimenopause slash menopause differently from Western medicine? Love this question.
I actually really love this question too. So, Eastern medicine, big differences. Eastern medicine, we actually look at while you're menstruating. That actually gives us some insight into the transition into menopause. So,
Mm,
all of the things that you may have learned and accepted as like, oh, it's okay to cramp, it's okay with the heavy bleeding,
mm,
like we'll just give you some pill, like birth control pills or something like that for that. I actually look at that as, we want to harmonize this now so that by the time it gets to menopause, the transition is easier. So when
Wow.
someone does come in talking about that they're in perimenopause or menopause, or talking about their symptoms, I always, always, always ask, what were your cycles like when they were
Wow.
more consistent? Because that gives insight into the disharmonies. Western medicine does tend to look at symptom management a little bit more. Eastern medicine's looking at what are some of the underlying implications. Also in
Okay.
Eastern medicine, it is celebrated to go into menopause. That is huge
Mhm.
difference. It's a huge, huge difference because there are also studies that are proving that women's perception of menopause and what happens during menopause
Mhm.
actually is affected by their culture's belief of menopause. So if you're in this Western medicine, like anti-aging,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing going on, like, oh,
Yeah.
menopause is the devil kind of thing. Like the more and more you're
Yeah.
around that, that can totally shift your experience. And this is not meaning like in a gaslighting kind of way. It can totally shift it. Um, Another thing that you're seeing is that now you'll see like Western medicine is what they would usually do is find an herb, like some herb would have done an amazing job, and then they want to go to a lab, break it down into its constituents to find out what
Right.
works, and then want to replicate it. So
Right.
sometimes that works, but the thing is too is just that like it's within an herb for a reason. Like
That's right.
so the whole talk was the totality, the
That's
wholeness.
right.
Like there is a reason why all of those pieces are together, and that's why sometimes they'll find that if they were to single something out, oh, it wasn't as effective. Well, it's because it was working with these other elements.
That's right.
Um, so you want to take a look at that. Those are big, huge differences, I want to say, when it comes to it. I will also say too that like you can change it. Like things can change just because this has already been your experience. It doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. It can change. And then you just want to be on the lookout if you're going to include herbs and supplements. I always encourage um, checking medication usage. And as much as it is that you might set yourself up for your doctor saying something like, I don't know why you're doing that, that stuff doesn't work, you
Mhm.
still want to
Mhm.
let them know if you are doing supplements or something like that, because it covers you in the sense that you disclose that you were taking those as they
Mhm.
were also prescribing something else.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? So you have these gates. It's at your doctor's office and at the pharmacy that technically they're supposed to be checking for counter interactions and things that may potentiate. So it's not just, oh, this will make something not work. It's actually some things will make things work better, like way more. And so they may not catch it, but you want to cover yourself to just say, well, I disclosed it.
Mhm.
This is what I'm taking, and this is how much. So then that way they can also take a look at if there are any interactions there. And then sometimes some interactions that you perceive like are actually letting you know that whatever you might be prescribed is actually they can lessen it. So that's another thing too, is that
Mhm.
as your body's starting to acclimate to whatever changes that you're doing, the prescribed medications don't need to be as high, so they start to come down, slash some just come off. So you'll start to see that kind of going along, and just pay attention to yourself. Please get to know your body and your body's responses. Yeah.
You are just so dope. Literally, you have us all in a trance. Like, yeah, I can't even. It's like poignant in here, but it's not like in a bad way. It's just like so. We're so
Oh.
enthralled. Okay, last question.
Yeah.
This is from Grace, and she says this was so amazing. Holistic healing, Reiki specifically, has been so helpful. Would you consider Reiki as Eastern medicine?
So I will say yes and no. Yes, in the sense that there is a form of Reiki, Usui, that's from Japan. So technically, it is Eastern medicine. So when I say no, it's because when I think about like acupuncture, oriental medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, when we think about the pillars that are involved in practicing the medicine, Reiki is not included in that. So, but that doesn't mean that it's not a medicine, if that makes sense. So that's why I say yes and no. But Reiki can be totally awesome. And if you find like that practitioner that's just amazing and you jive with, then totally go for it. I know that once again, I think about ways that we have access, right? Like some people think that you have to be around someone. But if you find someone who actually has that ability to do distance can work as well. So just in case if you're thinking like, oh, there isn't anyone that I could actually go to. You can do distance. A lot of my work I actually do as a client, like they do work with me on distance. So I know that it's possible. It's just a matter of you kind of calling in that person that'd be for you.
Oh, super dope. And just to circle back on Pakita's earlier question around disparities, she said all of it, yes. So you answered
Oh,
exactly in the way that she was
great.
hoping you would. And then one
Okay.
more comment to share. Tatiana has given a recommendation for your voice. She says ASMR and or affirmation videos. And there are a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
hearts around that.
Huh.
So
I kind of
for
like that.
real,
Like this.
I'm gonna just say too, because this ain't none of my business, but I'm gonna just say too, if you're thinking about it, especially ASMR, you can get on Alexa or Google Home for free. You can put your voice on there for free, and I think you should. Voice
Really?
Flow, yeah, go to Voice Flow. Voice Flow will literally allow you to push your own apps for free to Alexa and Google Home, and I would listen to you all day. That could be a great way to market your business in a way that it doesn't seem like marketing because you are lit.
Thanks. You know what's funny is I was looking in my email everywhere and I couldn't find it. I was like, I could have sworn I read a blog post of Casey's that talked about voiceovers. It was so it's like I feel like it was a part of a bigger blog post of like side something or I have no idea. And I didn't
Maybe
save it. And I was like, what? What? I can't find it. Because
voice
I was thinking about it.
flow. I think that's your intuition. I think this is a full circle moment. I think it was your intuition, sis. But
Yes.
yeah, if you decide to, I could wake up to you in the morning, sis. Beautiful,
Good
beautiful,
morning,
beautiful.
Casey.
Well, I appreciate this. We all do. You've definitely we've closed out every day thus far with journal sessions, like journal sessions to wind down. And this was the perfect end on day 4 with like we're standing on both feet, we're feeling centered, and then you just I don't even know what to call what you did, but you've awakened us. Yes. You've awakened us to the fact that we are perfect, we are whole, and that we don't have to do what we've been indoctrinated with. There are other options and natural ways to be more aligned and healthy. So thank you so much,
Most
sis. So much.
definitely. You're so welcome.
Super dope. Y'all definitely follow Denicia. Definitely go to blazevirtualsummit.com/freebies to get her freebies. Tomorrow is the last day. And a beautiful thing is, if y'all liked this, and this was a Blaze talk, she's doing a workshop tomorrow. She's actually the last speaker session of the day tomorrow, right before we close out. Okay. So you will hear more of her. You will hear more from her tomorrow. So keep it locked. And that concludes day 4. We're really done. And again, today has been about big founder energy, not in a way that's stressful. Okay. We'll save that for the summer summit. Okay. But in a way that awakens you, right? And lets you know how much agency that you have, right? And to let you know it's okay not to listen to them people. You're not crazy. Somebody said in the chat, they always said they were loony because of how centered and grounded and close to the earth they were, right? You're not loony at all. You are awake. You are enlightened, right? And that's what this is about. Tomorrow, it's over. Okay. Tomorrow, the summit ends. We actually have, for the first time ever, a headliner. A headliner. I will not be closing up the summit like I typically do. with the speaker session. We actually have a headliner who is going to take us there. I'm so excited about it. And we have a different DJ tomorrow. The headliner is Ohavia Phillips. She is incredible. She is in Charlotte. She is the in-house arena host for the Charlotte Hornets, as a matter of fact. Okay. And we have a DJ set that closes out the end of the day from Charlotte, a DJ from Charlotte. Her name is DJ Fannie Mae. She's super cold. Okay. So tomorrow will be a celebration of everything that we've experienced. We will still have sessions. Okay. We will still learn and be edified, but tomorrow is the end. So I thank you for rocking with us. I appreciate you all so much for everything that you have poured into this day. Be sure you have time tomorrow, but be sure if you have anything you want to share and leave, right? Be sure to submit a testimonial. Okay, it's in the feed. It's in the feed. The link is in the feed. I will make sure to pin it so that everybody can access it pretty easily. It'll be up tomorrow too. I just pinned it. Okay, it's at the top of the feed, but you click that link and you will literally be able to leave a video testimonial, right? Of what this experience has been like for you. Okay. PG said, well, you should give us our closing song now then. I gave it already. I think I gave it on Tuesday. Who was in here? Del PG. Didn't I sing Cranes in the Sky? I really did. I really did. It might have even been Monday. I don't know. But I did. It's on somebody's replay somewhere. I appreciate y'all. No, I did, PG. Neff knows. Neff heard me singing it. But be sure you go by the booths in the Black Market. They will continue to be there today. They will be there tomorrow as well. Then after this, the summit area closes, okay? I'm gonna close us out. I'm literally gonna close us out after this, okay? I'm gonna just sing us out for PG because I can't say no to her, but I'm gonna do like a church benediction. I hope I get these words right because it's been a long time. It's something like may his peace be with you till we meet again. May his peace be with you till we meet again. Till we reach that promised land, and we're walking hand in hand. May he give you strength to stand till we meet again, till we meet again. All right, so until tomorrow, I hope that his peace stays with you, that her peace stays with you. And I love y'all deep. I mean it, okay? Enjoy the lounge, enjoy the Black Market, enjoy communing with each other. We will do this again for the last time for the Winter 2022 Summit, bright and early tomorrow. Peace. Bye.